Hi everybody, this is Nikki and I'm here to do a video that is discussing control IQ alerts. There's two control IQ alerts that I would like to discuss only because I have silenced mine to an extent, even though I've been told that really you can't do that. You actually can. It's in a group setting that applies to more than just those two alerts. So there is some discussion that's probably good to have, but I have silenced those, so I was here to share. I have done a much longer video that is a long thing of information about all of your settings changes and basically how to make your pump quiet, since there are some people who are like me that just like a quiet pump. But I'm honing in on these two today because these are the ones that they're confusing because they seem like they should be CGM settings, but they're not. So people think that maybe you can't quiet them, but you can. So, okay, the two, and this is not medical advice. And this is not in any way a suggestion or recommendation for what you should be doing with your own pump volume and what you should be allowing through. I tend to suffer from alarm exhaustion, alarm fatigue. So I like a quiet pump because it means that I will pay attention to what I hear rather than constantly hearing stuff that I just don't look at and I just kind of blindly clear. Okay, so on that note, that's my cat's tail. Sorry. Okay, there are two, and I had to actually go to the manual to find the messages. There are two control IQ alerts that you can hear through your pump. These are not CGM alerts. These are not, they usually go off when your blood sugar is rising or falling or when you've been high or low or whatever, but they're not actual CGM alerts. So they are unaffected by the settings changes in your CGM volume and those selections. So these are alerts that will come from your pump, and they're actually coming from control IQ. You cannot adjust them in any way. You can't reset them. You can't say that you'd like to change that 70 to an 80 or 200 to a 180. You can't adjust them. However, as part of an overall settings change, a volume change, you can set them to vibrate. Okay, so the two alerts are as follows. They are the Control IQ low alert, which says Control IQ has predicted that you will drop below 70 milligrams per deciliter in the next 15 minutes. Eat carbs and test your BG. That's the low alert. I have, when I'm exercising or when I'm done with exercise, sometimes I hear that alert 15 times in a row. My blood sugar is okay. I don't in any way want to undermine the importance of the alert because it really is important, but I usually am already aware of that. So just to constantly hear that chime is not helping me. And I'm usually on top of it, or I'm low and I kind of know where I am and I'm good with it. The other alert is the Control IQ high alert. I hear about people who say that they hear this all night long and it's very upsetting, or it keeps them up or whatever. This one reads, Control IQ has increased your insulin, but your sensor readings remain above 200 milligrams per deciliter. Check your cartridge, tubing, and site, and test your BG. Again, not trying to undermine the importance of the alert. Those are both very important things to have communicated to us as diabetics. However, a lot of times, we know that. And so just to have the alert constantly, dinging in the back is not necessarily a great help. If you're okay with them, don't touch them, right? But if you're finding that you're overwhelmed by the volume or by the number of times you're being alerted to something or whatever, the way I have quieted that down, and I really, really have, is to go through, is to go to options. I don't know where the camera is. Right, to go to options, to scroll down, to go to, you can't see that, it says device settings. I can't see that. Down at the bottom says sound volume. And right here are all of their pump sounds that you can adjust. So this includes pump alarms, pump alerts, reminders, keypad, bolus, quick bolus, fill tubing, and CGM alerts. This is not where you can adjust or, kind of fine tune what you hear, what you don't hear. This is just a blanket per category, how you're going to hear those notifications. So for instance, pump alarms, I have set to vibrate. I'm good with that. I have a long video about all these things, but I'm okay with that because I know it will escalate and it will communicate to me if my pump has stopped delivering insulin. Pump alerts, which includes control IQ alerts, I do have those set to vibrate. Those will not escalate, but I feel like everything in that alert section for me is okay that I don't hear it. My pump will vibrate, but it will never escalate to include a tone, whereas with alarms it will. Reminders, keypad, I have everything on vibrate, and it means my pump is really nice and quiet. And it's nice and quiet, 24 hours a day, with the exception of an occasional occlusion, or whatever. So that's where it is. And like I said, it's under options, it's under sound volume. To set alerts to vibrate does include these other alerts, and I'll just list them really quick. And the only reason I say that is because, again, I'm okay with what I don't hear. And in fact, I actually turned my alerts back to low volume for about 3 days just to see what else I was missing. I just got done doing this over the last couple of days. And it was kind of funny because really the only thing I was missing were the control IQ alerts. There was maybe one other one about filling my cannula because I'd forgotten to fill the cannula at the end of the set change. So yes, ideally it would be nice to have heard that one. I ended up going an hour, without insulin before I remembered how to go back and resume the whole thing. But it was fine. And again, there's a trade-off. I'm okay with occasionally missing something like that, but not having to hear all day from the other stuff. Okay. Anyway, other alerts are low insulin alert, auto off, low power alert. That one is kind of a shame. It would be nice to know that I'm getting that low power, but I charge my pump every day like clockwork in the morning. So that's not a problem for me right now. Change cartridge, fill tubing, fill cannula, incomplete setting, basal rate required, max hourly bolus, minimum basal, connection error, pairing code timeout, power source, and data error. Those last couple seem to be like when I'm either charging or uploading or downloading or whatever. The minimum and the max hourly bolus I've never hit, so I've never needed that one. Minimum basal, I don't think I've ever hit. I don't have any idea. Basal rate required and incomplete setting, I think, are during setup. So most of those are not a big deal. Fill tubing, fill cannula, change cartridge, low power, those would be the big ones. And for me, I'm okay with not hearing those because they're rarely an issue. So that's it. 8.5 minutes, but of course. Hope this finds everybody well and doing something crazy this Memorial Day weekend, but crazy safe, crazy healthy. And that's all. Hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.